My sister stole my wedding venue claiming I was too old for fairy. So I bought the whole resort and banned her forever. The call came on a Tuesday afternoon while I was reviewing seating charts. I'd been planning this wedding for 18 months, every detail perfect, every moment choreographed. At 45, this was my second chance at love, and I was determined to do it right. Grace? It's me. My sister Chloe's voice was syrupy sweet, which should have been my first warning. We need to talk about the Rosewood Estate. My stomach tightened. What about it? Well, I'm engaged. I set down my pen carefully. Congratulations. When did this happen? Last night. Brad proposed at Le Bernardin. Can you believe it? And here's the most amazing part. We want to get married at Rosewood. Same date as you. The words hung in the air like smoke. I counted to 5 before responding. Chloe, that's my wedding date. My venue. The deposits are paid, contracts signed. About that, she interrupted, her voice shifting from sweet to strategic. I talked to Mom and Dad. They agree it makes more sense for me to have Rosewood. Excuse me? Grace, be realistic. You're 45. This is your second wedding. I'm 28, and this is my first. My only. Who needs the fairy tale more? My name is Grace Chun, and until that moment, I thought I understood my family. I thought 30 years of being the responsible older sister meant something. I thought paying my own way, never asking for help, being there for every crisis, meant something. But as I listened to my baby sister casually dismiss my wedding, my life, my worth, I realized I'd been playing by rules only I followed. The venue is in my name, I said quietly. Actually, Chloe said, and I could hear her smile. It's in Dad's name. He co-signed because of your credit history from the divorce. And Daddy agrees with me. You had your big wedding with Daniel. This is my turn. My first marriage. The one that ended when I caught Daniel with his secretary. The one that destroyed my credit when he emptied our accounts. The one that took me 10 years to recover from, financially and emotionally. Where's my wedding supposed to be then? I asked. Oh, Grace, there are tons of nice restaurants that do second weddings. Something simple, age-appropriate. Maybe a nice brunch? You don't need all the fuss at your stage. At my stage. Like I was past my expiration date. Like finding Michael, finding love again after everything, was something to hide in a restaurant corner instead of celebrate. I'll call you back, I said and hung up. Michael found me an hour later, still sitting at the dining table, wedding plans spread before me like a battlefield. He took one look at my face and pulled up a chair. What happened? I told him everything. His jaw tightened with each word, but he stayed quiet until I finished. Your father actually agreed to this? He asked. Apparently. Chloe's the baby. She's always gotten what she wanted. And what do you want? I looked at this man who'd waited 2 years for me to be ready to trust again, who'd proposed not with flash but with quiet certainty, who'd held me through nightmares about my first marriage. I want to marry you somewhere beautiful, I said. I want to dance under stars and celebrate that we found each other. I want to feel like I matter. You matter, he said firmly. To me, you're everything. We'll find another venue. But that night, I couldn't sleep. It wasn't about the venue, not really. It was about patterns. Chloe taking my prom dress because it looked better on her. Taking my car in college because hers was unreliable. Taking my parents' attention, affection, pride, because she was younger, prettier, more vivacious. And me? I always stepped aside. Always made room. Always smiled and said it was fine. The next morning, I drove to my parents' house. My mother was in her garden, pruning roses like nothing had happened. Gracie, she didn't look up. Chloe told you the wonderful news? That she's stealing my wedding? Mom straightened, her face settling into familiar lines of disappointment. Don't be dramatic. She's not stealing anything. We're adjusting plans to be fair. How is giving her my venue fair? Grace, you've been married. You had your white dress, your father walking you down the aisle, your special day. Chloe deserves the same. My special day ended in divorce, Mom. This is my chance to. To what? Pretend you're 25 again. She set down her pruning shears. Sweetheart, you're middle-aged. A small, elegant gathering is more appropriate. Leave the fairy tales to Chloe. I stared at this woman who'd given birth to me, raised me, and somehow never saw me. Is that what you think? That I'm too old for fairy tales? I think you should be gracious. Chloe's been dreaming of Rosewood since she was little. So have I said. I just learned not to voice my dreams in this family. I left without another word. That afternoon, I called Rosewood Estate directly. The events coordinator was apologetic but firm. I'm sorry, Miss Chen. Your father called this morning and transferred the reservation to your sister's name. The deposit remains the same, just the contract holder changed. Is that legal? Since he was the co-signer and primary on the account, yes. I'm truly sorry. We have other dates available. I hung up. Then I called my lawyer. Then my accountant. Then I did something I hadn't done in years. I called my grandmother's estate attorney. Grandma Chun had been the only one who saw me. Really saw me. When she died 5 years ago, she'd left me something I'd never touched, never needed. For when you finally decide to matter, her letter had said. I thought it was just money. I was wrong. 3 days later, I sat in a conference room with lawyers and financial advisors, looking at documents that changed everything. My grandmother hadn't just left me money. She'd left me power. Stocks, bonds, real estate holdings, and a trust fund that had been quietly growing for 5 years. The total value is approximately $12 million, the attorney said. Your grandmother was very specific. This was to remain sealed until you needed it. We received your call, and well, here we are. $12 million. All those years of watching Chloe get cars, trips, a condo from our parents. All those years of being told to be grateful for hand-me-downs and leftovers. And Grandma had been watching, planning. There's also this, the attorney said, sliding another document across. A letter she wanted you to have when you accessed the funds. I opened it with trembling hands. My dearest Grace, if you're reading this, you finally decided to stop being invisible. Good. I've watched you shrink yourself for years, making room for everyone else's light. But you were born to shine too. I see your sister's selfishness, your parents' blindness. I see how you smile when you want to scream. I was the same once. Then I decided to matter. This money isn't for spending. It's for building. Build something that makes you impossible to ignore. Build something that shows them who you really are. Stop asking permission to exist. Take up space. Make noise. Be inconvenient. All my love and fury. Grandma Chen. I read it twice, tears streaming. Then I made a phone call. Rosewood Estate? This is Grace Chen. I'd like to speak to someone about purchasing your property. The silence on the other end was deafening. I'm sorry, did you say purchasing? Yes. The entire estate. How much? It took a week of negotiations. The owners, an elderly couple looking to retire, were initially skeptical. But cash talks and $12 million speaks volumes. We settled on $8.5 million for the entire property. The mansion, the grounds, the business, everything. I didn't tell anyone. Not Michael, though he knew something was brewing. Not my parents. Certainly not Chloe, who was already posting about her venue on Instagram, #bride@any-age, #first-time-bride, #fairytale-come-true. The closing was scheduled for the following Friday. I'd own Rosewood Estate exactly 2 weeks before my original wedding date. 2 weeks before Chloe's stolen dream. But first, I had one more thing to do. I drove to my parents' house for Sunday dinner, just like always. The whole family was there, Mom, Dad, Chloe with Brad, various aunts and cousins. I sat in my usual spot, invisible at the far end of the table. So, Grace, Aunt Linda said with false sympathy, I heard about the venue situation. So generous of you to step aside for Chloe. Yes, Chloe beamed. Grace understands. She's already had her chance at the princess thing. Now it's my turn. Besides, my father added, not looking at me, Grace is being practical. At her age, a small ceremony is more dignified. Exactly, my mother agreed. Leave the fairy tales to the young. I smiled and said nothing. I ate my dinner and said nothing. I listened to Chloe describe her dress, her flowers, her plans for my venue, and said nothing. But inside, Grandma Chen's words burned bright. Stop asking permission to exist. In 6 days, they'd all learn what happened when you pushed the invisible daughter too far. When you told her she was too old for fairy tales. When you forgot that sometimes the best stories come from the people you never bothered to see. The check was in my purse. The papers would be signed. And Chloe's fairy tale was about to become my redemption. The closing happened on a rainy Friday morning. I sat in the law office, signing paper after paper, each signature transforming me from Grace Chun, invisible daughter, to Grace Chun, owner of the most exclusive wedding venue in the state. Congratulations, Miss Chun, the elderly owner, Mrs. Whitman, said warmly. Rosewood has been our life for 30 years. We're particular about who takes it over. Why did you choose me? I asked. Her husband answered. Because when you called, you didn't ask about profit margins or booking schedules. You asked about the history, the gardens, the stories. You asked about the wedding we hosted last month for the cancer survivor. That's when we knew. I signed the final paper with a steady hand. I promised to honor what you built. We know you will, Mrs. Whitman said. By the way, we saw the booking for next Saturday. Your sister? Yes. She studied my face carefully. Interesting situation. The deposit is non-refundable, of course. But as the new owner, you have full discretion over all bookings. I understand. Mr. Whitman cleared his throat. Grace, I don't know your full story, but I know hurt when I see it. Whatever you're planning, make sure it's justice, not just revenge. What's the difference? I asked. Justice builds something better. Revenge just burns everything down. I thought about those words as I drove to Rosewood, my Rosewood now. The rain had stopped, and late afternoon sun painted the estate in gold. 20 acres of manicured gardens, a 19th century mansion converted to an event space, separate bridal and groom suites, a carriage house, and views that belonged on postcards. Michael met me at the entrance, confusion clear on his face. You said you wanted to show me something? I handed him the keys. Welcome to our venue. Grace, I know you're upset about losing this place, but I didn't lose it, I said. I bought it. The silence stretched between us. Then, you what? I explained everything. Grandma Chen's inheritance, the purchase, the plans forming in my mind. Michael listened without interrupting, his expression cycling through shock, concern, and something that looked like awe. $8.5 million, he said finally. You bought an entire estate because your sister stole your wedding venue? No, I said. I bought it because I'm tired of being told I don't matter. Because I'm building something. Because for once, I'm taking up space. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled me close. Your grandmother sounds like she was incredible. She was the only one who saw me. That's not true, he said into my hair. I see you. I've always seen you. We walked through the estate as the sun set. I showed him the ballroom where we'd planned to dance, the garden where we'd exchange vows, the terrace where cocktails would be served. Everything I'd dreamed of, now literally mine. So what's the plan? He asked. Cancel Chloe's wedding? No, I said. That would be revenge. I have something else in mind. I spent the next 3 days at Rosewood, meeting with staff, reviewing bookings, understanding the business. The Whitmans had run it beautifully, profitable but personal, exclusive but warm. They'd built relationships with every vendor in the area, created preferred lists, established traditions. We have a wedding next Saturday, the events coordinator, Marie, said carefully. The Chin Morrison wedding. There's some confusion about. No confusion, I said. That booking stands. But I'll be handling it personally. Marie's eyes widened. The bride has been difficult. Very demanding. She's changed the flowers 3 times, insulted our catering staff, and demanded we repaint the bridal suite. Sounds like Chloe, I muttered. You know her? She's my sister. Marie's professional mask slipped. Oh dear. Don't worry, I said. Let her have whatever she wants this week. Next Saturday will take care of itself. Wednesday night, my phone exploded with texts. Chloe had posted on social media about her final venue visit and tagged Rosewood. Within minutes, my family group chat was pinging. Mom, Chloe looks so happy. The venue is perfect for her. Dad, proud of my princess. She deserves this fairy tale. Aunt Linda, good thing Grace was so understanding about the change. Chloe, can't wait for everyone to see MY's special day. Sorry Grace can't make it to the tasting tomorrow. Second weddings are so much simpler, right? I turned off my phone and went back to planning. Thursday arrived with clear skies and anxiety. The tasting was scheduled for 2 p.m. I arrived at noon, dressed in my new designer suit. The kind of outfit that whispered money rather than shouting it. The staff, now my staff, straightened when they saw me. Mrs. Chen's party? I asked Marie. They're early. Already in the tasting room making demands. Your mother wants to change the entire menu. Perfect, I said. Show me to my office first. The owner's office overlooked the main entrance. I watched from the window as more family arrived. Cousins, aunts, family friends. All here to celebrate Chloe's triumph. Then I saw my parents' car, my father helping my mother out, both dressed like they were attending royalty. I waited until they were all seated, until the champagne was poured and toasts were being made. Then I walked in. The room fell silent. I stood in the doorway, taking in the scene. My family gathered around Chloe, celebrating her stolen victory. Grace. My mother's voice was sharp. What are you doing here? This is Chloe's tasting. I know, I said pleasantly. I thought I should attend, considering. Considering what? Chloe snapped. You agreed to step aside. This is my day. No, I said. This is my venue. The silence was deafening. Then Chloe laughed, that tinkling sound that usually got her whatever she wanted. Don't be bitter, Grace. It doesn't suit you. I walked to the head of the table. I'm not bitter. I'm the owner. I bought Rosewood Estate last Friday. Every inch of it belongs to me. The champagne glass slipped from my mother's hand, shattering on the floor. My father's face went from red to white in seconds. But Chloe just stared, her perfect mouth opening and closing like a fish. That's impossible, she whispered. Is it? I pulled out the deed, laying it on the table. Grace Chun, sole owner. Purchased in cash. Closed 5 days ago. You don't have that kind of money, my father said. This is some kind of joke. Grandma Chun wasn't joking when she left me her estate, I said. $12 million. She said to use it when I decided to matter. Turns out, that was last week. Grandma left you. My mother couldn't finish. Everything, I confirmed. Because she saw how this family treated me. How you all treated me. Too old for fairy tales, right? Too past my prime for a beautiful wedding. But my wedding, Chloe said, her voice rising. My wedding is in 9 days. Yes, I said. About that, I pulled out another document. As owner, I've reviewed all upcoming bookings. Yours is particularly interesting. It seems there was an irregularity in how the booking was transferred. My signature was forged on the transfer documents. That's a lie, Chloe shrieked. I have the originals. My lawyer has already filed a complaint. But don't worry, I'm not canceling your wedding. Hope flared in her eyes. You're not? No. You can have your fairy tale wedding here. On one condition. What? She asked warily. You stand up during your reception and tell everyone the truth. How you stole this venue from me. How Mom and Dad helped. How you all decided I was too old, too past my prime, too unimportant to have the wedding I planned. That's insane, my father said. We won't. Then find another venue, I said simply. 9 days should be plenty of time. I hear there are some nice restaurants that do weekend events. I turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and the tasting is over. This is a private establishment, and you're all trespassing. You have 10 minutes to leave. Grace, my mother stood. You can't do this. We're family. Family. I turned back. Family doesn't tell you you're too old for joy. Family doesn't steal your dreams and expect gratitude. Family sees you. This is about money, Chloe said desperately. How much do you want? I'll pay for the venue. Name your price. I don't want your money, I said. I want you to feel what I felt when Dad called to cancel my booking. When Mom said I should be grateful for leftovers. When you posted about your fairy tale on Instagram while I cried into my wedding dress. That's cruel, Aunt Linda said. No, I replied. Cruel is being told for 45 years that you matter less than your younger sister. Cruel is having your wedding stolen because you've been divorced. Cruel is being invisible in your own family. I walked to the door, then turned back one last time. You have 9 days to decide. Public confession or find another venue. Marie will show you out. I left them in chaos. Chloe crying, my parents shouting, relatives trying to understand what had happened. But I didn't go far. I went to my office and watched from the window as they were escorted out, Chloe stumbling in her designer heels, my father red-faced and gesturing wildly. Michael found me there an hour later. The staff told me what happened. Are you okay? I don't know, I said honestly. I thought I'd feel victorious. Instead, I just feel empty. Because you're not built for cruelty, he said. Even when they deserve it. They do deserve it, I said. Don't they? He didn't answer directly. What do you really want, Grace? Not revenge. What do you actually want? I thought about it. I want to be seen. I want to matter. I want to stop shrinking myself to make room for everyone else. Then do that, he said. But do it for you, not to them. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about what he'd said. About what the Whitmans had said. Justice builds something better. By morning, I had a different plan. The call came at 6 a.m. on Friday, 8 days before the wedding. I'd been expecting it. Grace. My mother's voice was small, defeated. We need to talk. I'm listening. Chloe's been crying for 2 days. No other venue can accommodate her on such short notice. The invitations are sent, the vendors booked. Please, Grace. She's your sister. She's the sister who stole my wedding, I corrected. We were wrong, she said, the words seeming to physically pain her. I was wrong. But punishing Chloe won't undo that. I'm not punishing her. I'm giving her a choice. A humiliating choice. Yes, I agreed. Like the choice you gave me. Accept humiliation or lose everything. Familiar, isn't it? The silence stretched. Then, what do you want from us, Grace? I want you to see me, I said. Really see me. Not as Chloe's older sister or your divorced daughter or someone too old for fairy tales. Just see me. I don't know how, she admitted quietly. Then learn, I said and hung up. I spent the day at Rosewood, not as an owner seeking revenge, but as a woman building something. I met with local wedding planners, discussed partnerships with photographers, explored ways to make the venue more inclusive. I started planning a program for older brides, divorced women, anyone who'd been told they were too something for their dreams. The second chance fairy tale package, Marie suggested during our meeting, for women who've been told they've aged out of magic. Perfect, I said, feeling Grandma Chen's approval like sunlight. Saturday morning, my phone buzzed. A text from Chloe. Can we meet? Please. I chose neutral ground, a coffee shop downtown. She was already there when I arrived, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, wearing old college sweatpants. She looked like she'd aged 5 years in 5 days. You look terrible, I said, sitting down. I haven't slept, she admitted. I keep thinking about what you said. About being invisible. And I never saw it, she said, tears starting. I never saw how Mom and Dad treated you differently. Or I saw it but thought it was normal. Natural. You were older, responsible. I was the baby who needed protecting. You're 28, Chloe. You haven't been a baby for a long time. I know, she whispered. But I liked being the princess. I liked getting what I wanted. When I saw you with Rosewood, so happy planning your wedding, I was jealous. That stopped me cold. Jealous? Of me. You found Michael. Real love, not just someone who looked good on Instagram. You were getting married at Rosewood, the place I'd dreamed about since I was 10. And you were doing it all yourself, no help from Mom and Dad, just being enough. So you took it. I took it, she agreed. Like I took your prom dress. Your car. Your parents' attention. I took and took because I could. Because no one ever stopped me. I'm stopping you now, I said. I know. She met my eyes. I'll do it. The confession. If that's what it takes to have my wedding there, I'll do it. Brad's okay with that? She laughed bitterly. Brad left. Said he didn't sign up for family drama. Funny how fairy tale princes disappear when things get complicated. I stared at my sister, really seeing her for perhaps the first time. Not the golden child or the spoiled princess, but a woman who'd built her entire identity on being given things she never earned. The wedding's off, I asked. Unless I want to marry myself, yes. She tried to smile. Guess I'm joining you in the Too Old for Fairy Tales club. I bought an entire estate to prove that club doesn't exist, I reminded her. You bought an estate to prove you matter, she corrected. And you do. You always did. I'm sorry I couldn't see that. We sat in silence, two sisters separated by years of imbalance, finally on level ground. I have a proposition, I said finally. What? Your wedding date is still available. The vendors are booked. Everything's ready. Grace, I just told you. For my wedding, I continued. Michael and I will take the date. But I want you there. Not as the princess, but as my sister. My maid of honor, if you'll do it. She blinked rapidly. After everything? Because of everything, I said. I'm tired of being invisible, but I'm also tired of being angry. Grandma Chen told me to build something. I want to build a different kind of family. What about mom and dad? They'll have to decide what matters more, their comfort or their daughter. Both daughters. Chloe reached across the table, taking my hand. I don't deserve this. No, I agreed. But that's not how love works. The week before my wedding was a chaos of replanning. Changing names on vendor contracts, adjusting the guest list, dealing with the fallout. My parents were the hardest part. You're rewarding her? My father's voice was incredulous over the phone. After what she did? I'm choosing to move forward, I said. You can join us or not. This is that estate money talking, he said. It's changed you. No, Dad. The money just revealed what was always there. I matter, with or without your approval. I don't understand this, my mother said on the extension. Why make such a fuss? Why buy a venue? Why all this drama? Because you taught me to be quiet, and it nearly killed me, I said. Because being invisible isn't noble, it's just invisible. Because Chloe and I both deserve better than the roles you assigned us. We did our best, my mother said defensively. Then do better, I replied. The wedding is Saturday. You're invited. Show up as parents who see both their daughters, or don't show up at all. I hung up not knowing what they'd choose. The morning of my wedding dawned perfect. Clear skies, gentle breeze, the gardens at Rosewood in full bloom. I stood in the bridal suite, the same one Chloe had demanded be repainted, watching the vendors set up through the window. You okay? Chloe appeared beside me, already in her maid of honor dress. A simple blue that made her look elegant rather than attention-seeking. Nervous, I admitted. Not about Michael. They'll come, she said. Mom called me 3 times yesterday. They're confused and hurt, but they'll come. And if they don't, then we'll be each other's family. She squeezed my hand. I've been thinking about what you said. About building something. I want to help with the Second Chance program. Not for money or recognition. Just to help women who've been told they're too something for their dreams. Chloe Chen, advocate for invisible women? I teased. Reformed princess, she corrected. Learning to see people she missed. My wedding planner, Marie, who'd become a friend, knocked and entered. Grace, you have visitors. My parents stood in the doorway. They looked older, uncertain, but they were there. My mother held a small wrapped box. We weren't sure we'd be welcome, my father said stiffly. You're here, I said. That's what matters. My mother stepped forward, offering the box. This was Grandma Chen's. She gave it to me for my wedding, said it should pass to you. I forgot to give it to you the first time. You mean you gave it to Chloe? I said gently. Yes, she admitted. I gave it to Chloe. Like I gave her everything. Because somewhere along the way, I decided she needed more. Maybe because you seemed so strong, so capable. You never asked for help. I asked, I said. You just never heard me. I opened the box. Inside was a simple jade bracelet, delicate and perfect. It's beautiful. You're beautiful, my mother said, tears starting. Both my daughters are beautiful. I'm sorry it took me so long to see that. We have a lot to talk about, I said. But not today. Today is for joy. My father cleared his throat. Grace, about the estate. Is mine, I finished. Not for dividing or discussing. Mine to build something meaningful with. I was going to say, he continued, that I'm proud of you. Scared of this new version of you, but proud. You're stronger than I knew. I was always strong, I said. You just taught me to hide it. Chloe hugged our parents. Come on, let's give Grace some space. We have a wedding to witness. They filed out, leaving me alone with my reflection. The woman in the mirror wasn't 25, wasn't trying to recapture something lost. She was 45, powerful, visible, and about to marry the man who saw her when no one else did. The ceremony was everything I'd dreamed. Michael's face when he saw me walk down the aisle, alone, needing no one to give me away, was worth every battle, every tear, every moment of doubt. We exchanged vows in the garden, surrounded by people who'd learned to see us. During the reception, I watched my family navigate this new dynamic. My parents, uncertain but trying. Chloe, beautiful in her supporting role. Extended family, whispering about the drama but dancing at my fairy tale wedding anyway. No regrets. Michael asked during our first dance. None, I said. Well, maybe one. What? I should have bought this place years ago. He laughed, spinning me under the stars. Your grandmother would be proud. She is, I said, feeling it in my bones. She absolutely is. Later, as the evening wound down, Chloe pulled me aside. Thank you, she said simply, for letting me be here, for giving me a chance to be better. Thank you for taking it, I replied. I've been thinking, she said, about the Second Chance program. What if we didn't just do weddings? What if we created a whole support system? Counseling, career help, friendship networks? For women starting over. The Chin Sisters Foundation? I suggested. The Visible Women Project, she countered. Perfect, I said and meant it. As the last guests departed, I stood on the terrace overlooking the gardens. My wedding dress sparkled in the moonlight, my jade bracelet caught the light. My husband's hand was warm in mine. Below us, the estate spread out like a promise, not just of weddings and events, but of transformation, visibility, and women claiming their space. What are you thinking? Michael asked. That fairy tales aren't about age, I said. They're about being brave enough to believe you deserve magic. Do you feel it? The magic. I looked at my husband, my reformed sister, my trying parents, my inherited estate, my visible life. Every single day. Rosewood Estate is still mine. The Visible Women Project has helped dozens of women reclaim their dreams. Chloe runs it now, having found her calling in lifting others up instead of stepping on them. My parents are learning slowly to see both their daughters. And somewhere, Grandma Chin is smiling. They told me I was too old for fairy tales. They were wrong. I wasn't too old, I was just getting started. And the best part? This fairy tale doesn't end with a kiss. It begins with finally, fully, unapologetically being seen. Thanks for listening. Remember, you're never too old, too divorced, too anything for your dreams. Sometimes you just need to buy the whole castle and write your own story.